But I'm renting, so I don't need insurance, right? You just said that. Or you've thought it. Maybe you said it to your partner over dinner. Maybe you said it to yourself while scrolling through your banking app, looking at that $147 until next Thursday. And you are not alone. You are part of the 78% of Queensland renters and roughly 3 in 4 renters across the entire country who do not have contents insurance. But here is the thing nobody tells you until it is too late. The average contents insurance claim in Queensland alone is over $8,000. That is not a landlord problem. That is your laptop, your phone, your couch, your clothes, your entire life, gone in a single afternoon. Here is what most Australians believe about renting and insurance. They think the landlord's policy has them covered. That is wrong. Landlord insurance covers the building and the landlord's fixtures. It does not cover your belongings, not $1. If a pipe bursts and destroys your bedroom, the landlord claims for the wall repair. You claim for nothing because you have nothing to claim against. The Insurance Council of Australia reported that extreme weather events in 2025 generated almost $3.5 billion in insured losses. But that number only tells half the story. The other half is the renters who had nothing to claim because they had nothing to insure against in the first place. Part 1. The $8,000 assumption. The core idea is brutally simple. If you rent, your stuff is your responsibility. Full stop. No one else is coming to save it. According to RACQ Insurance, the average cost of contents claims across the past 3 years in Queensland is $8,107. That is the average. Some claims are much higher. Now think about your bedroom, your laptop, $1,500, your phone, $1,000, your clothes, $2,000, your bed, your desk, your kitchen appliances. It adds up faster than you think. Now, run the contrast. 2 renters in Brisbane. Same income, same apartment building. A storm rips through one night. Renter A has contents insurance. They pay their excess, around $500, and their insurer replaces everything. Within a week, they have a new laptop, new clothes, a new bed. Renter B has nothing. They are starting from zero. They are sleeping on a borrowed mattress. They are borrowing a phone to call Centrelink. Same storm, same building. A completely different life. The question is not whether you can afford insurance. The question is whether you can afford not to have it. Part 2. The $10 a week. Truth. This is the mechanism that changes everything. Contents insurance for renters is remarkably affordable. A basic policy covering up to $50,000 of belongings can cost less than $10 a week. Across Australia, annual premiums range from approximately $200 to $900, depending on where you live and how much cover you need. That is between $17 and $75 a month. Now, run the contrast. One renter pays $10 a week for insurance. Over a year, that is $520. The other renter puts that $10 into a savings account. After a year, they have $520 saved. Then, a fire destroys their apartment. The insured renter claims $50,000 and replaces everything. The saver has $520. That buys a second-hand mattress and a kettle. The saver spent the same money. They just spent it on the wrong thing. That is not bad luck. That is a structural error. How many weeks have you already spent $10 on something you cannot even remember? Part 3. The fire that does not discriminate. This part is about the emotional reality of disaster. Renters are twice as likely to need to make a claim for theft or burglary than homeowners. Yet 3/4 of them have no cover. The Insurance Council of Australia found that extreme weather losses over the past 5 years total approximately $22.5 billion, up 67% on the previous 5 years. These are not rare events anymore. They are becoming normal. Now run the contrast. 2 families in Lismore. Same age, same income, both renting. A flood hits. One family has contents insurance. They claim for everything: furniture, electronics, kids' toys, school uniforms. The insurer pays for temporary accommodation while the rental is repaired. The other family has nothing. They rely on government disaster payments. They wait weeks. They rebuild from charity. The insured family is back on their feet in a month. The uninsured family is still struggling a year later. That is not a financial gap. That is a life gap. What would you do if you woke up tomorrow and everything you owned was gone? Part 4, the young Australian who did not know this part, is for everyone under 35. RACQ Insurance found that 21% of uninsured renters have never even heard of contents insurance. Of those, 59% are aged between 18 and 34. That means more than half of young uninsured renters do not know the product exists. They are not choosing to skip it. They do not know it is an option. Now run the contrast. 2 24-year-olds in Sydney, same share house, same salary. One learns about contents insurance from a friend. They sign up, $40 a month. The other never hears about it. 6 months later, a break-in. Laptops, phones, a TV, all gone. The insured renter claims $5,000 and replaces everything within days. The uninsured renter spends the next 6 months paying off a credit card to replace their work laptop. Same age, same city. One conversation changed everything. That is the gap. That is the knowledge divide. Who in your life has never told you this? Part 5. The 15-minute fix. This is the action part. The entire process of getting covered takes less time than watching a single episode of a streaming show. You open a comparison site. You enter your postcode and an estimate of your belongings. You choose a policy. You pay monthly or annually. That is it. Choice. The independent consumer group estimates that a renter with contents insured for just over $50,000 could save up to $300 a year in Victoria, $750 in Queensland, and $635 in New South Wales simply by switching insurers. That means the market is competitive. That means you have power. Now, run the contrast. One renter spends 15 minutes comparing policies and locks in cover for $400 a year. Another renter does nothing. 5 years later, the first renter has paid $2,000 in premiums and has never claimed, but they have slept soundly for 5 years. The second renter has saved $2,000. Then a fire destroys their apartment. They lose $40,000 of belongings. The first renter is covered, the second renter is bankrupt. Same 15 minutes. One chose security, the other chose a gamble. Which one are you? You are not stupid for not knowing this. The system never taught you. Your landlord never mentioned it because it is not their problem. Your parents probably own their home and have never thought about renters insurance. But now you know. And knowing changes everything. Contents insurance costs less than a takeaway meal a week. It covers your entire life. It is the difference between a disaster and a catastrophe. The question is not whether you can afford $10 a week. The question is whether you can afford to wake up one morning with nothing and realize you had the power to prevent it the whole time.